This week on This Medical Life, we're talking to a specialist, but probably not one you've ever heard of. It's not a neonatal oncologist or a pediatric thoracic surgeon. It's a child life specialist. Some people may have already seen a child life specialist and not remember it because they were, well, children. But I can assure you they make a big difference in your time in the hospital if you are a kid. We have CCLS MaryKate Kelly on the program to explain a little bit of the history of child life, what she does, and why it matters so much. So what happens when you mix a nurse, a social worker, and a teacher? Act 1. The Play Lady.
Programs began in the earliest 20th century. There was a large amount of children being hospitalized during this time for various surgeries such as tonsillectomies, and the medical staff was beginning to recognize the emotional toll hospitalization had on the patients. They introduced the Play Lady to help the children cope and take their mind off of their anxieties. At this time, parents were not allowed to stay with their children in the hospitals because they were seen as a distraction to the medical process. So the Play Ladies acted as those substitute parents to the children. The duties of the Play Lady were to tend to the children who were admitted and create a happy environment for them. They played with the children and offered comfort and reassurance. They set up displays for the parents to educate them on how to care for their children when they returned home, and educated the nursing staff on how to play with the children they were caring for. It was Emma Plank who believed in creating a sense of normalcy for a child in the hospital. She created a program that addressed the social, emotional, and educational needs of hospitalized children at Cleveland City Hospital in 1955. She went on to serve as the director for child life until 1972. This was around the same time that the child life movement experienced rapid growth and was the start of many new programs. And in 1982, the Child Life Council was formed. The Child Life Council celebrated its 25th anniversary in 2007. We have continued to grow since then, and the amount of children who have been helped since the official formation only continues to increase. The role of the Play Lady laid the foundation for what was to be called child life. And since then, we have taken their initial steps toward a legitimized program and expanded this vital and enriching resource for children in the hospital.
Child life has certainly come a long way since those letters. They're now a professionalized, formalized position in hospitals and do more than just entertain pediatric patients. I'll let MaryKate describe a little bit of what she does on a daily basis in the hospital.
When a child is first admitted to the hospital, they're experiencing a lot of stress and they have a lot of confusion. So it's my job and my colleagues' jobs as child life specialists to alleviate some of that stress and to clear up some of that confusion about their diagnosis and their illness and the treatment that they're going through. So the first way that we do that is we become experts in child development. Child life specialists see patients from the moment they're born up until young adults, ages like 18. So we really have to be well versed in all of the developmental needs and the stages and where these patients are. And we have to be able to move around and flip from patient to patient and to be comfortable enough that we can relate to them in ways that they can understand and in ways that they will appreciate and in ways that will help them to grow developmentally for where they need to be. So what we're doing as child life specialists is we're aiming to meet the psychosocial, emotional, and developmental needs of the children. Every child and family will experience something different while in the hospital, and it's our jobs as child life specialists to assess their needs and determine the correct plan of care. Some children might be, at a stage where they're more frightened of getting an IV than they are of getting an X-ray. Some young adults might be questioning why them and have issues of guilt. And others might just not know what's happening to them at all. So we have to really be flexible and bend and be able to meet those very specific needs. Another huge aspect about being a child life specialist is being able to establish therapeutic relationship with children. This really means that you are able to create a sense of comfort for the patients who are already experiencing so much stress. If you can create a familiar and comfortable environment for them, then you really created half the battle. Being able to create a bond between them and build rapport with your patients is something that all child life specialists really hold as an important aspect of their job. Along with building rapport between yourself and the patient, you have to remember to build a continuous relationship and bond between the child and their parents. Making sure that the parents have an involvement in the child's care is a huge aspect when it comes to meeting the psychosocial needs and developmental needs of the family. Meeting the needs can be done in a variety of ways, such as preparation for procedures, teaching patients coping mechanisms, and educating patients on their illness and treatment in terms that they can understand. The needs of each patient often stem from anxiety and fear over the unknowns of their illnesses, so education of the procedures is a top priority for many child life specialists.
You know, it's a little funny hearing you talk about all the time and effort you put into these kids because when I was a kid, you got hauled to the doctor and he did something to you and you went home. I was at my physician's office recently and he asked if I still had my tonsils and I told him, yes, I think so. But then I went home and I called my mom and she told me I got them out when I was 8. I had no idea. I remember going to the hospital, lying in a bed, and waking up to ice cream, but not anyone telling me what had just happened. Now, I wasn't traumatized by this experience, but I can see how someone could be. Is this a part of why child life is so important to involve anytime someone goes into a hospital or sees a doctor?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said earlier, children are being placed into these unfamiliar situations where confusing and invasive medical procedures are happening to them. And if we don't take the time to explain to them what's happening, then they can be left traumatized and depressed. Preparations for medical events help children and individuals more accurately understand the circumstances and experiences they face before, during, and after the event. It's also important that we help patients organize and collect their emotional thoughts and understanding so that they can make meaning of their events. Most often this is done through play. Play is the language of children, so incorporating it is one of the most important aspects to working in child life. Play is the vehicle through which children can best internalize new information. It can also be used as a way for children to express themselves and their fears, socialize with other patients, and create a sense of normalcy to their hospitalization. Creating a sense of normalcy is extremely important because patients are experiencing a lot of confusing sounds, sights, and strange people. This usually leads to younger children not wanting to cooperate with the medical team, which usually when someone decides to call a CCLS. Play can be used as a method to accomplish all of the duties that a child life specialist has: prep, coping, distraction, comfort, normalcy, and comfort. The way a patient plays changes as they develop, so finding the right tools and avenues for each patient is key to the play therapy process. Another reason why child life is so vital is because we help the entire family. We make sure the siblings are being acknowledged and that the parents' concerns are being heard. It's important that this happens for the entire length of stay that the patient is in the hospital. Children have limited opportunities to make decisions for themselves while undergoing treatment, so it's also important that we help them regain their autonomy in any way that we can. We give them choices on which activities they want to do, where they want to play, and how they want to express themselves. This is a really great need for child life specialists in the medical field, and I'm definitely honored to be a part of this profession.
Thanks so much to our guest, CCLS MaryKate Kelly this week, and all of her colleagues in the child life field. This has been This Medical Life, and I'm Ira Class. We'll see you next week.